This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3 on the map BattleBase Octopon, the 4-player variant of BattleBase Beta. And we have got for ourselves a 2v2. Kicking off our first team as the Cyan Allies. This is Dutch Army. He is back from the For the Win 77 tournament, and we get to see him in some more matches, but this time teamed up with the one, the only, the indisputable Happy. And making up team number 2 as the Red Empire on the right side, this is Zaar, aka ASDFGHJK period. I had to look down at the keyboard to get that one, but in the south, everybody's favorite yellow Soviet player, this is Dimon. Dimon and Zaar, I think Dimon is kind of teaching Zaar or mentoring Zaar or coaching Zaar. They play some games together, for example, that recent Dimon versus Zaar game that I cast, Temple Prime. On Temple Prime was from an all-maps challenge that Dimon and Zaar played. So the two of them are teaming up, and then of course we just got to see Dimon, Happy, and Dutch Army in For the Win 77, which was just a fantastic event and series of games. Definitely check that out. It's a 4-hour-long video on For the Win 77, and it is a ton of action, a ton of fun. But we've got an Empire and a Soviet player teaming up against a double Allies team. Dutch Army, I believe, is normally an Allied player, and of course, Dimon and Happy play in their normal factions. Zaar, I guess, is an Empire player. Again, I haven't seen a ton of him other than that game he played against Dimon on Temple Prime. So I think everyone is in their strongest suits. No one has an off faction going on here. Looks like a Javelin Trooper got cleaned up there, a dog getting cleaned up over there, scouting units getting cleared out of the map, and a couple of Javelin Troopers for Happy are going to be going down here in the south from the conscripts of Dimon, and the MCV on the move for possibly all the players. Nope, just Happy at the current moment, and it does look like Dutch Army has also left his own main base, going to be taking a third refinery out here, kind of in between the location of the two bases of the Allied players. I guess there is this refinery up here, which is also sort of in between, but a little more exposed. I cannot remember the last time I saw a game on this map. I feel like I've seen some games on this map, but it's been so long. In fact, the layout and where all of the refineries are seems a little bit odd. Dog does clean up 2 flak troopers very nicely there by Happy. Gets revenge for those 2 Javelin Troopers earlier. The barracks gets deployed, and the barracks are going to be here for Dimon to help him clear these peacekeepers. Dimon has been doing such a good job of controlling the ground. We saw him pushing back and clearing up little groups of Allied infantry on the ground. He's been doing such a good job of controlling the space up to this point in the game. And I mean, doing that with conscripts is difficult against peacekeepers. In this particular case, he's going to be able to get the jump on a couple of peacekeepers and clean them up, losing himself a couple more conscripts in the process. Dutch Army looking to potentially take a 4th refinery, but it's going to be made a bit difficult by Zaar's walling off process, and he just barely gets the walls to save that barracks and maintain that build radius for a moment longer before those Vindicators come through. A couple of MiGs are here, and a single twin blade for Dimon, who's now moving his MCV out. Looks like he was able to expand up here to the north, and oh, it looks like he worked off of the build radius from an Empire power plant. That's a brilliant move, and not an expansion technique that I remember seeing. That's a great use of the 2v2 mechanic that you can build off of your allies' build radius. Okay, flak troopers inside of the twin blade. I was like, wait, did he bring an engineer to the airfield of Happy? Looks like Dutch Army going to be dropping a multi-gunner turret to try and save that airfield, but it's not going to be enough. MiGs versus Apollos. One of the MiGs extremely low on health, but the Apollo's now going to be giving chase, and the MiGs cut tail and run, or turn tail and run as Dutch Army really coming through for Happy, showing up in the defensive way and helping Happy to break out of that contain held by Dimon. So all 4 of these players doing a really good job of playing, of working together, of playing off of each other, and of coordinating. It seems like they are indeed working together. Is this a turret push by... I mean, this is pretty common for allied players. One of them moves the MCV and the other one deploys the multi-gunner turret, and actually there it goes all the way down there. I thought it was going to be up next to this barracks, but it's all the way next to the refinery of Dimon. The build radius just absolutely insane there. A couple of dogs coming in here to, I assume, lock down that barracks, but they run right past the barracks, giving an opportunity for those units to be produced. Javelin soldiers going to be potentially shutting down Zaar's refinery there. And Apollo's continuing to give chase to these MiGs, and another twin blade, but loaded up with 5 flak troopers this time, so they're going to get some nice shots off on these Apollos, clean up 2 of the Apollos, but the Peacekeeper is here for Happy, so he's going to be able to shut down this attack long before this refinery goes down. Dimon trying to get as much damage as he can, and it's going to be about 33% of the health of that refinery, maybe a little bit more, maybe 40% or something. Tengu's in the middle of the map, and these Javelin soldiers still haven't been dealt with, but Zaar's refinery does still exist, so he hasn't lost the refinery yet. Zaar looking desperately for perhaps a good angle of attack. He's now got point defense drones on top of those Tengus, so they can be a little bit more effective. And these walls have actually been quite effective, apparently. I mean, we saw this multi-gunner turret first go down minutes ago, and now, only now, is the ore refinery being broken. So Dimon has done a good job of holding on to this original main base. He has expanded over here, and potentially he's going to be looking to take that refinery as well. So his economy is going to be hurting in just a moment, but he's not going to be down and out. He's not going to be totally shut down. And still, this one Mecha Tengu was not enough to clean up those Javelin soldiers. Apollo's getting jumped on by the Tengus in the middle of the map. And meanwhile, back in the south, Dimon continuing to lose his refineries, or at least one of them. The second one hasn't actually been targeted down. I think too many other things are happening. The Harvester not going to be activated, unfortunately. Again, just looking too many other places on the map as Guardian tanks are giving some real trouble to Zaar. He's got a lot of forces in his base. He's going to be using that honorable discharge and pulling in reinforcements to try and lock down these tanks, cutting off the reinforcements as well, and then chasing on out of there. And actually, there's no more anti-air. It was all Javelin troopers. So that one Tengu, and now the reinforcements being cut off, is a complete decapitation of this attack by Zaar. A great move. He realized that there was a tactical weakness here that he could exploit. Even that single IFV is not going to be enough to stop this attack, and what a great identification by Zaar, and a great capitalization on a weakness of his opponent. He created an opportunity, and now he is exploiting it as far as he possibly can. Apollos do show up for Happy, and they do land the kill on that last Chopper VX. Meanwhile, in the south, the Javelin soldier desperately trying to clean up that one lone Peacekeeper. As Dimon says, you took my base, I am going to look to take your base, although right now it's going to be a very slow taking of the base of Happy. That single Peacekeeper, I think from earlier, that cleaned up those flak troopers, still around and waiting. And look at this base push from Happy. It just does not stop. This guy really channeling the Turret King, and my gosh, look at that. Across the water is how far that multi-gunner turret can deploy. A War Factory going to be called in to body block. It's got a lot of HP, and it does have a good ability to block that turret for a minute. Refineries will eventually be going down here for Happy, so it looks like Happy and Dimon may entirely be swapping positions. They may just literally be trading off their spots. Airfield and power plant all going to be going down. The super reactor might be the next target for this allied Javelin trooper, and goodbye airfield. That wall attempt was nice, but it will not stand. And for now, Zaar is doing okay. Dutch Army seems to be doing okay. Happy and Dimon are just really demolishing each other. The War Factory got canceled. That multi-gunner turret got shut down one way or another. And it looks like this oil derrick in the north is going to be captured by Happy. Harvester getting harassed by this single Tengu, very low on health and just out of range of that multi-gunner turret, as finally Dimon is almost ready to clear out the base of Happy. More and more wall segments getting cleaned up, and somehow the super reactor and the refinery have survived, so Dimon has actually held on to this location. Again, Zaar actually doing some of the defense here with that Tengu. It's not actually Dimon defending himself. He has infantry inside of the buildings, but in terms of actual units on the ground, it looks like that goes to Zaar. So good work on these players for all working together and truly trying to be stronger as a team than they are individually. Oftentimes, you do see kind of more of a 1v1 mentality from players in a team game, but not in this case. This refinery will be going down. Happy trying desperately to carve out a bit of space for himself since he and Dimon have now traded places, making this like a cross spawns situation where you're actually allied with the player in the opposite corner to you. A fully heroic Tengu going to be going down. And, I mean, you can't escape the IFV when you transform that close to it and you're that low on health. Bullfrog's getting chased by that single Peacekeeper. Always funny considering how much bigger the Bullfrogs are, but of course they can't crush, which is just hilarious to watch them, like, run over a tree, no problem. But they just can't crush enemy units. Cry shot coming down. Dimon with slow reaction will be losing a fully heroic... Yeah, fully heroic hammer tank gets locked down. The Bullfrogs clean up the Vindicator, but it doesn't matter. That fully heroic hammer tank was awesome, and now it's dead. Did another cryo shot fire off, or was that sound effect just like 4 seconds late for some reason? That was really bizarre. I don't know why that was, but unless another cryo shot fired off nearby, but I don't think it did. Once again, Dutch Army going to be losing a couple of units to those Chopper VXs. Nice control by Zaar. Will be able to stop this attack of Dutch Army and push him back. All right, Zaar is ready to make some more headway, but he's a little bit cautious, and Dimon doesn't have a strong army, but he's just barely managing to hold on to his position. He hasn't actually taken any of those refinery locations in the main base of Happy. He's expanded way the heck up here somehow, some way, and not taken the main base of Happy. I'm not actually sure where Dimon's MCV ended up. Happy captured all of that stuff over here. This is a great move by Happy. He's even got a flak cannon over here, which for the current moment will stand. I guess it'll maybe catch some units that are flying over in that direction, and Dimon can get some victory points from that. The MCV for Dimon is indeed here, working with that Crusher Crane to base push Dutch Army, and this is just turning this into an absolute mess of a game. A super reactor and now an allied refinery on that location. Meanwhile, Dimon wants to have every spawning position on the map under his control at one point or another. A Bear does get a magnificent roar-off to clean up so many of these Peacekeepers. That sentry gun never really coming to fruition, and that Bullfrog, coming to the front of the battle and saying, please, please kill me off. Finally, the Leech Beams clean up one of those Guardian tanks, and the other one is just barely hanging on. Peacekeepers and Javelin Troopers going to be able to shut down this entire section of the map for Dimon, which will mean the end of his Crusher Crane. He needs to do something to get himself back in this game, and those double gun hammer tanks doing so much damage against this airfield, but eventually the Harvester will go down and this entire base will fall to the forces of Dimon. Dimon going to be forced to try and rebuild in the Dutch Army section of the map, since Happy's section of the map just wasn't quite enough. Again, an absolute mess of a game with battles happening all over the place. The War Factory will get locked down. There's the freeze, but where's the kill? Is it a little bit late, as this Vindicator is coming in for Happy, and this could be a double kill of the War Factories of both players. There's the sell-off of that War Factory, and the Mecha Bay is already back out on the field, but of course no Tier 2 on that Mecha Bay. Refinery goes down, War Factory goes down, Crusher Crane goes down. Happy has completely cleared out everything that Dimon built from that section of the map. I would love if Dimon grabbed these allied power plants, just going to take over whatever he can from Dutch Army. Zaar has built himself up a nice little group of units, and he's going to potentially be looking to push out 4 Vindicators, going to be utilized to clear out these But actually, one Vindicator goes down, so the flak cannon did come back, and it was useful just barely. This Tank Buster is going to get the kill or not get the kill. He won't, but the satellites will finish it off. And that poor Tank Buster doing absolutely everything he possibly could. The Vindicator's cleaning up his Tank Buster brethren, and this refinery will go down. The satellite gets the kill, and that cleans that up. The combo support power usage from Zaar and Dimon to clear up that refinery. Happy has still maintained a presence here. Yeah, so the super reactor does indeed count to maintain build radius in this case. Happy going to be potentially losing this harvester as it doesn't actually do any work for him. And another multi-gunner turret going to be going down, immediately deployed here to defend against these chopper VXs. Nice control there by Zaar. He is going to be able to jump on that multi-gunner turret though, and Happy continuing to make bombing runs with his Vindicators against the forces of Zaar. There goes the super reactor. Here goes the refinery. And finally, this section of the map is under no one's control. You might as well kill the Prospector as well. Don't let him get the build radius. Don't let him do it. He's going to try. And Zaar does go to shut that down, but he does lose the auto attack that he had sent. All right, Zaar clears up that section of the map. Another Cryogeddon going to be firing off. Another War Factory eliminated. And this, the Guardian tank won't be stopped, even if it is. The Vindicators were here to finish the job. And the power plant may survive, but the War Factory did not. Big crush coming off. Good use of that Tsunami tank to try and clear out the ground. And this single Tengu won't be able to chase down the Vindicators. He might be able to grab them as they go for the landing if it lasts that long. These two heroic hammer tanks still going for it. That's a spy on the ground that we just saw, and it looks like Zaar is going to barely grab the kill on that spy. Very nicely done by Zaar. And it looks like a War Factory and a War Factory going down, but Dimon is there to just absorb a bit of damage away from Zaar. Body blocking for his ally once again. Oh no, where did the hammer tanks go? The hammer tanks maybe got eliminated. Oh, that is too bad. Dimon losing those hammer tanks. He's got himself a super reactor back up and running. Another Cryogeddon going to be firing off. This one is going to miss the War Factory, but it will get just about everything else. And fortunately for Zaar, his War Factory will be able to pump out an MCV if he should so choose. And here come the Vindicators for Dutch Army. He's going to be able to clean up everything. Very nicely done there. Clears out that base, makes it that much weaker, forces Dimon to rebuild some of this stuff. First Tengu coming out of the War Factory after that bombing run. And this airfield is actually going to be under threat. The Tengu is here, but not able to finish off that Vindicator. Dutch Army will be able to escape for the current moment. Forces the sell-off of that airfield. And for now, the Striker VXs will escape. Dimon sitting on 4 refineries and an oil derrick as the current state of things. And I guess this conscript or flak troop or whatever was inside of there gets cleared out after taking some shots at that con yard. Strikers do manage to catch 2 Vindicators with the help of that Tengu to finish off those Vindicators. And the Tengu sacrifices himself but doesn't get that 3rd Vindicator. So close to that. Dutch Army getting some free damage against the Bears of Dimon. And once again, the power plants of Zaar getting targeted down by those Vindicators. The endless bombing runs, you do have to give it to Happy. And, a spy grabbing a hammer tank there. Very unfortunate. And it looks like 4 new hammer tanks freshly on the field. They're going to start working away at that multi-gunner turret. And another spy is coming on down, but it looks like Dimon does know it. He's going to keep his hammer tank safe for the current moment. This is 2 Javelin soldiers and 2 Peacekeepers. In actuality, not secretly spies in this case. Harvester's taking some heavy damage, but not enough to stop them completely. Zaar, his MCV is not out yet. It looks like he might be constructing one at the current moment, but he's going to find an angle. He's going to try and find a weakness here, and actually the perfect opportunity as he gets the kill on the power plant in the interim with the low power mode of Happy, and Happy's MCV now completely trapped. It's getting targeted down. A great opportunity found here by Zaar. There's the kill of that MCV, and the Vindicators are here just for show. The Strikers do transform, get a couple of shots off, and land another Vindicator kill. A great catch there once again by Zaar. This guy is finding so many little angles and opportunities as Happy has been defeated. He hands everything over to Dutch Army. This guy is out of power and out of options. We'll see if Dutch Army can mount some kind of a heroic defense. This has been such a chaotic and messy 2v2, trading places all over the place, and an absolute mess of a match. These Strikers getting so much value for Zaar over the course of this game, but of course, you can't just kill Zaar, who's already got his new MCV out and ready. It's already named the Zaar Mark II, or perhaps the Russian Zaar, something like that. As the hammer tanks close in on Dutch Army closes in on Zaar. It's going to be Imperial Warriors trying to clear the grounds, and even that Dojo Core is not going to be enough. Another Cryogeddon fires off, and the MCV is going to cut and run, head out to the north to try and escape. The Mecha Bay will once again be getting frozen and deleted. But this infantry army is weakened. Dutch Army doesn't have anything to fall back on as the hammer tanks are continuing to press on forward. A multi-gunner turret, a couple of javelin soldiers, and a Athena cannon are here to stop them, but it's not enough. Dimon literally crushing forward, and he's going to kill that war factory. He's got the MCV in his sights, and he can deal with a couple of remaining units that pop on out for Dutch Army. The barracks going to be getting shut down. The power plants and the MCV might be next. So many hammer tanks from Dimon. They will not be stopped. And Dutch Army's last set of units, all pretty much fully heroic, is still continuing to tear through the main base of Zaar, but Dutch Army himself is losing everything behind this. Dutch Army without much of a chance. He's got a little something down in the southern section of the map, and he is going to continue to pump out units and make a stand if he can. He's going to try and deal with the reinforcements of Dimon, but Dimon has so many conscripts and just so many hammer tanks in general. The MCV getting redeployed over here near the ramp, and actually there's a naval yard down here as a nice insurance policy for Zaar. He's still got the oil derrick, it looks like, as well, so he's never truly out of cash, even if that income is extremely small. Tankbuster Surprise helping to deal with that refinery very nicely, but the never-ending onslaught from Dutch Army is truly never-ending as he continues to put out more and more Vindicator bombing runs, and he maintains this little section of the map, Dimon's original section of the map, with those two refineries and this one up on the high ground. And Dimon is going to identify this. It looks like Dimon is getting ready to close in on this location, and all points will converge in the south. It looks like all roads are leading straight from the war factories of Zaar and Dimon and straight to Dutch Army's base. Dutch Army has done an admirable job of sticking around in this game, trying to break out from the situation that he is in. He's even going to go for the oil derrick. I mean, that is one of those things that does get overlooked sometimes. That can be a big part of the game. Multi-gunner turret is not going to be able to deal with the vast number of infantry that Zaar can pump out if he should so choose. He's already got a refinery up. A psionic decimator is also on its way. So, a couple of cryocopters. Dutch Army realizes that the Bullfrogs are far behind. 4 Bullfrogs now on the front lines, though, and of course the frozen down hammer tanks only do you any good if you have something to blast them to actually kill off those hammer tanks. 4 cryocopters is a good number, but as long as you've got a 5th Bullfrog somewhere. Oh, great use of the point defense drones. 1 cryocopter already going down, but there is a 4th ready to replace it, so we still have 4. And the Psionic Decimator gets deployed. Dimon is now in low power mode as he adds on that additional refinery. And Dimon going to do what he can to shut down the build radius of Dutch Army, make sure that Dutch Army can't expand anywhere on the map. Dutch Army still has this oiled air way over there, cranking out that cash for him, but he's in that low power mode with no MCV. He doesn't have a whole lot of options left. Could probably sell off one of these multi-gunner turrets and get himself back online power-wise, so at least his production is up to snuff, although I don't know that his cash flow is enough to produce, you know, cryocopters and infantry at the same time. Final squadron comes in, does a little bit of damage to the infantry, and the Bullfrogs continuing to try and clean up those cryocopter numbers. Of course, MiGs could also be a nice addition, or some Tengus, perhaps, coming out from Zaar. But these guys have this in the bag, and they are choosing to kind of play this out very slowly instead of just rushing in there. And to be honest, I don't really blame them. It feels like Dutch Army is one of those guys who might just barely be able to pull something out. Like, this should be an overwhelming number of hammer tanks, but, like, maybe with his 5, 8, however many cryocopters he's got, maybe he's going to be able to make something happen. But the last charge comes in. The Imperial Warriors are the first line of defense, but I'm sure the hammer tanks and the Bullfrogs won't be far behind, as the infantry front line has been weakened by the forces of Zaar, and the hammer tanks are here for the crush. The Bullfrogs as well getting mixed into this army. A great spread by Dutch Army, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Just as the point defense drones expire, one cryocopter falls. The others do survive, at least for the current moment. And 3 minutes and 50 seconds left. I hope we're not waiting around for that to try and break. And okay, that is not something I've seen very often, but you can infuse one of your units with toxins, and then when it dies, now he's chasing cryocopters with a Tier 1 magnetic satellite, which I don't know that Tier 1 magnetic satellite, I don't know how that affects air units. And a fitting way to end the game as the Kirov comes in for Dimon, and he's still refusing to push in. A couple of those infantry units getting eliminated by the toxin. The command post might be the only thing left in this game, as once again Zaar's infantry trying to stand up against the massive infantry army of the Allies, but it's just not enough. And I think the command hub is the last thing, and this barracks for Dutch Army. Dimon with his Kirovs not even going to be giving a satisfaction of a regular fight. A spy getting a couple of these hammer tanks, but everything else gets crushed as Dimon and Zaar march forward to victory. And that will do it for a very chaotic game on BattleBase Octopon. And that will do it for this 2v2, an entertaining and action-packed match from these 4 players. And ultimately, a victory for the Soviets and for the Empire. And that will do it for this game. Thank you all very much for watching this video. And this is Sybert signing out.